Hello, I'm back for one more quick introduction here, where I'm going to talk about human-centered design. Let me find my slides and we'll get started. Okay, so we left off talking about entrepreneurial mindset, where we were thinking about creating value and identifying opportunities and problems, applying design thinking. And in particular, we had this Venn diagram with technical feasibility up here, customer desirability, and economic viability. We're talking about how innovation and successful entrepreneurship happens when all three of these coincide, right? So we're going to start from here and we're going to rearrange this Venn diagram on the next slide, so don't panic. But we're going to start here with that human part, the customer, and think about how to create a design where you think about the customer, the humans first. And this is called human-centered design. And there's a great link here, and I'll put it on the Camino page as well, so you can go to it and learn more. But human-centered design thinking needs to go hand in hand with being entrepreneurship and having a successful startup or business. And human-centered design is a creative approach to problem solving, starts with people, and it arrives at new solutions tailored to meet the customer and the people's lives. And so it's really all about empathy, but also about creativity. And so there are some steps that are considered part of human-centered design, and it always starts with empathy and empathizing and trying as much as you can to think about the perspective from your customer's point of view. There's so many great examples of this from humanitarian engineering that I think we'll get a flavor for in our next module. So you empathize with your customers, you define the problem, because a lot of times what ends up happening in human-centered design is you go in thinking there's one problem. Maybe that problem is having water to drink, because that's what you think the customer is telling you. But if you dig deeper and sit with your customers and talk about it more, you realize it's more than just having clean water. And it's more about the community around the water and not getting sick and things like that. So once you define the problem, you work closely with your customers and your engineering team to ideate. You create a prototype solution, and then you test it. And this testing doesn't always have to be physical testing. It can be testing by bringing it back to the customer. So there's other ways to think about this. We start always here with the empathy. You use that to define your problem, even if that means the definition is different than when you started your project. You ideate, where you just like brainstorm over and over. There's many different ways to do this and come up with as many different possible ideas as you can. You prototype, you test, you bring it back to the customer. And sometimes even when you bring it back to the customer, they're like, oh no, that's not at all what I was expecting. And it can help you redefine the problem all over again. So this is like never-ending cycle, right? I mean, eventually we do have to decide to break the cycle and produce something and put it out to market. But it's really all about the humility and making your customers the center of the design. What? Okay, that's not what I meant to do. So let's go back to this. Okay, so, okay. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so in human-centered design, a lot of times what happens is you have this like inspiration phase where you learn how to better understand people, you observe their lives, and then you ideate and you converge on what you think is. So it's like all these ideas are up here, and then you converge to one particular idea, and then it diverges again, and suddenly you have more ideas. And it keeps going and going until you zero in on your solution. Okay, so here's one way we can think about this, is this design canvas. On one side, on the side we're going to start with is the customer profile. What gains will the customer get from your product? What pains might be associated with the product? And then the customer jobs. And here is our value proposition, or the product that we're trying to innovate and create. And we're going to try and make sure that we can mesh or meld the product with the customer. So one example is a Tesla. Okay, so a Tesla, if we think about the customer is an upper middle class male with a greater than $100,000 per year income. So what are his gains from getting from a car, a Tesla, that he might want? Maybe it's design. Maybe he wants it to be like a sports car. Maybe he wants it to sit 4 to 7 people so his family can fit in it. Maybe he wants to have high-end battery tech. What's he going to do with this car? He's going to get to work. He's going to get to go in the carpool lane. He wants to do long distance trips. He wants to maybe be different from others, and that's why he's going to get a Tesla. What are his pains? His pains might be he needs a frequent charge. He might be afraid of a dead battery. He might think there's a lack of charging station. He might be afraid that he's going to buy it before the price drops. Okay, so let's look at a Tesla and see if it fits these. His gain creators, so it's a, you know, maybe you've seen it. I've never actually been in a Tesla, but it does have great performance. There's a big focus on design and style and tech. It has a great battery life. It has different models that could fit different number of people. And some of these pain relievers, there's this whole network, charging network that was created, and it can charge pretty quickly with the right charge. Okay, so as you start and meet with your team in the next few days to begin this first part, I want you to think about who is your customer for the Sustainability at SCU project, what gains and pains and jobs fit their profile, so fill this in for that. And then think about how your solution, so as you brainstorm, think about what impact or value you add to the gains and pains of your customer, and if it helps them do the job that we're talking about. Okay, you can ignore that last one. That's all I got for that. So have a great week. Thank you.